Hi everybody, welcome along to this percussion discussion special episode. Please check out our social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course our world famous YouTube channel. If you wouldn't mind giving us a subscribe, it would really, really help. We're getting people all over the world now, so why not get yourselves in on it as well? If you prefer to hear your conversations on the go, then all of our interviews are available in podcast form on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. So they're there to download and you can listen at your pleasure or leisure even. Anyway, on to today's special edition. A good friend of mine, and thank you for this, Mr. Steve Barney, put me in touch with a gentleman called Simon Hanson, who of course plays for Squeeze. They are on tour in America at the moment with Hall Oates. And the Hall Oates drummer is the fantastic Mr. Brian Dunne. So I was very lucky to get them both in the same room just before going on to do their show. So we had a very brief chat and I hope you enjoy it. So here is Mr. Simon Hanson and Mr. Brian Dunne. So Brian, Simon, thanks both for doing this. It's great to have you here with me.
Good to be here, man. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I know you're on tour together at the moment. So whereabouts in the world are you at the moment?
Where are we? We're in Atlanta, Georgia.
Right. Okay. Got you. Fantastic. So this is so nice to see. Everyone I've spoken to so far has been either at home or, you know, in a studio or sulking about COVID. So it's so nice to see two professional drummers out on tour on the same gig sitting next to each other. This is
I know. We're so lucky. I mean, the thing we were talking about the other day is that this we're not. I will feel for all my mates who are not touring, but this is a good sign.
Of course, it's got to be, hasn't it?
Yeah, that we're out and we're getting. Well, his band's getting 20,000 people a night. You know, isn't it? His band. We're out in front of real people, like in big places, and it's quite. But there's a lot of safety. We're tested every day.
Yeah, of course.
Look, we've got this wristband to say that we've had a proper registered COVID test.
Yeah. So I was going to say, have things changed a lot for touring now? Have they changed quite drastically?
Yeah, I feel it. I feel it has changed. I feel that obviously we haven't been going out after gigs. We are a bubble. I mean, we can hang out together without wearing face masks, but I haven't been going to bars. We haven't met. We saved a load of money.
Oh yes.
But we kind of do gig, bus, hotel.
Yeah.
And don't go out very much.
Yeah. So I'm guessing there's very few hangers on backstage as there would be normally on a big tour.
Zero. No one's allowed back.
Nobody can come here.
Not even family members.
No. Nobody can. Yeah. Nobody breaks the wall. Yeah. Which is nice actually, because a lot of the time when you do gigs, you're stressing about looking after.
Yes.
You're stressing about looking after your guests. And now when people ring up, it's like, no, I can't get my missus in.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's not my rule. I'm sorry. Yeah. But it is great to see. And are the audience acting any differently? Because I've not seen a show since I can't remember the last time I saw a show. I think it was March last year. March 2 years. Well, yeah, last year. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the audiences, they've been waiting for it, so the reaction's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first show that night.
Yeah.
And it was because before lockdown we did a show together. We did the Garden, the Madison Square Garden, and then 2 days later it was like, your tour is over.
Yeah.
So we both. Well, you had short hair.
Yeah.
He had shaved head like me. And now look at him.
All right, that's impressive.
But we've all been waiting, and it's like it was so nice, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The first note, and when the lights came up, and we saw that the arena was just packed. It was like, oh my god!
Yeah.
It is amazing. I mean, I think there's a genuine thirst for it now, or hunger for it, because there's been so much live streamed stuff and things like that I'm doing now, that lots of people are doing all over the world. But it will never, ever replace sitting in front of a band with musicians such as yourself, will it? It never will. Never.
Is that feeling? We were talking about. I mean, even for me, watching the band, you know, I like the kick drum to hit me here. I like it to be loud, and it's the same with playing. But it's the gigs. And Brian does the live from Daryl's house, which is a massive TV show, which I love. Yes. I watch him. But that's not the same, is it? I mean,
the live thing is a whole other animal. Yeah.
He's just in a little room playing very good. Everybody should watch the CeeLo Green. It's the best with him. Live, watch it on YouTube.
I have to. I'm glad you mentioned that because I like the Kenny Loggins one as well. I think that's a really cool one. And Brian, that as you see it, you know, on the TV and what have you, that's how it is because you're literally discussing the form of the song. So is this and is it that literally how it is?
It is. There's no rehearsal, and we talk about we talk about how we're going to perform the tune, and we just play. And actually, Kenny's episode there was much more work put into that than usual because we're never supposed to stop playing once we start. So the general rule is we talk about what we're going to do. We play the song beginning to end, no matter what. If it's good, it's kept, and that's it. If any changes need to be made, we discuss it again, and that's 85% of the time. That's what you guys hear is the second time we've played the tune, and there's no listening back either. So if we play through it, it's like the sound. Daryl just says to the sound guy in the other room, he's like, "Pete, how did that sound?" And he's like, "Good." And then Daryl will go next, and then next time we hear it is 6 months later.
On TV.
On TV.
Whoa!
It must be quite an event waiting for it. Cause is it kind of like, how's it going to be? Or
yeah.
But you know, you guys at your level, you know it's going to be pretty close to being perfect, don't you? Really, I guess. You should.
Well, we try, but there's a lot of loose moments on that show because mostly because Daryl doesn't want it to be the way, whatever version we get, he doesn't want us to cop it. So he tells us, do your homework, but don't do much. And I'm not going to do hardly any. And he likes to just react. So, you know, if you're going to hear like the recorded version, you're not going to really hear that. But we know he's going to approach it that way. So as sidemen, I know for me, we play for lots of different people, so I'm always going back and checking out and doing my homework. So, but it still comes out fresh, and there's definitely a lot of fear that I'm trying to desperately hide because it's a wild card. You know, sometimes things change, and you just have to react.
You look so relaxed,
and he likes that. That's the thing. He has the guts, though. A lot of artists don't have the guts. They say they want to have that vibe, but he really does do it. It's like he knows if we played it 3 more times every tune, it would just get better and better and better. And he has no interest in that. He's like, I want to capture the energy of the first or second time, and he literally lives with it. So it's cool.
It's kind of a Russian roulette thing, isn't it? Almost, you know. Let's just see what happens and let's go for it. But can you make notes, or is there no charting or anything like that allowed? You've got to just.
No, we can. The musical director will make charts, but the only guys that really read in the band is the MD, the guitar player, and myself. Yeah. But I tend to not want to read. If I can help it, I don't, because it doesn't look. I don't think it looks good either. I'd rather just learn it, get it in my bones, and play so I can react.
I mean, I love it when somebody like Kenny Loggins will correct you on the groove you're playing. You know, oh no, the bass drum doesn't do that there. It does it every fourth bar or something. You know, and I like the details that's all there in advance. Brilliant. It's a great show, and anybody who's any musician, forget drummers. You know, anyone who's watching this, it's worth the watch, isn't it? Because it's incredible. It really is. And you say amazing guests on there, and you know,
such a good idea.
It's an amazing idea.
It's a great idea. Yeah,
it is. But maybe you should sort a UK one out, Simon.
All right, I'll have a word. Yeah, we should do a drummer one where we let singers come.
Any key you like. No other musicians.
Just 2 drummers and a singer. Come on,
live at Simon's house.
Yeah,
that'd be great. And you know, I was thinking a little bit earlier. And there's lots of similarities between the two gigs, you know, obviously Squeeze and Hall and Oates. Musically, obviously quite different, but the fact that, you know, you've both got your two singer-songwriters, a huge back catalogue, and obviously neither of you are the original drummer for the bands. And you look back at the drummers that have played for both bands, and it's a hell of a list, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah.
Big shoes.
Yeah.
I'm filling big shoes. You're filling.
Yeah.
He's filling big shoes.
And I have little feet.
I wrote some of the names down for Hall and Oates. Tony Beard, who is a very underestimated drummer, I think, over the years, you know, a name that perhaps people aren't familiar with. Jerry Marotta, Mickey Curry, Jeff Beccaro, you know, massive names. And again,
Bernard Purdy.
Really? If I missed Bernard Purdy off the list?
Bernard Purdy's the drummer on She's Gone.
Really? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I've just learned that.
Wow. And again, same for you, Simon. Obviously, Gilson Lavis, whichever way you say it. And one of my favourite drummers, Pete Thomas.
Absolutely. Pete was, I was quite nervous, and he came to a few shows, and there's a song that he recorded called Third Rail. Mm. And he taught me that you're straight with your left hand, but you're swinging with your right. So it's a Los Lobos thing. And I mean, I listened to the track. I couldn't hear that in the track, and he showed me it. Mm. And 5 years later, I could do it now.
Nice.
But I know, I was in awe of him. I mean, like Pete, great. And Gilson who's sort of a friend. Yeah, it's great to be playing their parts. I like the idea that I can honour them.
Absolutely. I mean, even Ash Sohan's done a short spell with the band, I believe.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, and of course the late great Keith Wilkinson as well.
Absolutely brilliant, lovely drummer. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you've got a great heritage of musicians that have gone before you. So it must be nice knowing for both of you. It's the same thing that, you know, you're there on your merits, and you look back at the guys who've gone before you. I always think it's must be an incredible feeling, you know.
Yeah, well, it is. I mean, for me, it's probably less that, but more to be able to play those songs, because we're both with great songwriters.
Yeah.
I mean, Squeeze are off the scale, and the Hall and Oates off the scale.
Yeah.
When we first started playing together, it was like, oh, it's that one. Oh, it's that one. That's My Erection. I didn't really even realise there were Hall and Oates songs. Yeah. There's a great song called Every Time You Go Away, which was covered by Paul Young.
Paul Young, yeah.
And I did not know that was a Hall and Oates song.
It would appear. I've just found that out as well. I didn't know.
Yeah, it's a Daryl Hall song. Yeah,
it's a Daryl Hall song. Yeah.
Wow. There you go. I've learnt more in this first 10 minutes than I've learnt in the last 6 months, I think, with you guys.
Me too, Matty.
We should do this every week.
Yes.
But, you know, and you've both got an incredible back catalogue of songs to choose from. I mean, it's just hit for you both. You know, it must be amazing just to have all those songs. Do you have a favourite song that you could choose each from the set that you like?
Well, yours, She's Gone. Come on.
No. My favorite. Well, for me, I like Sarah Smile.
Oh, of course.
I mean, I like them all, but Sarah Smile is like, that's a crazy, amazing song.
It is.
My Hall and Oates song, I have to say, is Don't Change. I don't know if it's one that you do live anymore or not, but I can't remember which album it's from. Oh gosh, it's one of the like a 76 album or something. It's a great song. It's probably not in the set list anymore, but it's such a cool song.
It's not in the set list, is it? Don't Change.
No. I've never played that.
All right, it's a great song. And how about you, Simon, for Squeeze tunes?
Well, to play, I think there's a song called "Is That Love," which is 2 minutes long. Right. Put it down to about a minute and a half. No, seriously now, it's good to play. And it's they're in your psyche. I was listening to those songs when I was at school, and when I first met these guys, and they said, "Could you learn these songs?" I went, "I knew them."
Yeah,
I knew them. You know, and it's for me the same as Hall and Oates. It's just,
of course,
it's a different level of songwriting, and they were pop rock bands, but there's an intelligence and depth, isn't there? Yeah, and we're lucky, aren't we?
Super lucky.
Oh, super lucky. You know, but I've said it before, but it is nice to see people out and about, sitting next to each other, not having to wear masks, and you know, It's such a great thing. How long of the tour? How far in advance does it go? This one then? How far?
Well, we're nearly done now. We've got 4 more shows together. We've been out for about 2 months, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yep. We finish on Brian's birthday at the Hollywood Bowl, and I just learned that today. My God, I'm going to play a trick on you. Shouldn't have said that, should I?
So I guess, I mean, a lot of people watching this won't really have an insight to what goes on prior to the show. Have you? I mean, I think we're about. I guess we're at 5:40 wherever you are at the moment in the world. And
yes.
I guess you've both soundchecked now. You're both done. And
so what happens in the day is that actually the crew arrive about 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Put all the equipment in. Brian arrives about 2. They do a sound check for an hour. Then we get a sound check after because we're opening.
Yeah.
About 4:30, and then we go and have dinner. We have wonderful caterers who make food, so we'll go and sit together and have dinner and talk about drumsticks and drummer jokes. What sort of sticks do you?
Banjo jokes.
Banjo. We've just been doing banjo jokes. What's the difference between a banjo and an onion?
Oh,
nobody cried when you cut up a banjo.
Oh dear me, I like that.
We're gonna get hate mail. We're gonna get bluegrass hate mail, aren't we?
You can change that.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, guitar or guitar.
There's no banjo players that watch this. I can guarantee it's generally drum. So we're all right, you know. So, oh dear me. My favourite was the what's the difference between a banjo and a trampoline? I'm sure you've heard this one.
Go on.
No.
You take your shoes off to jump on a trampoline.
Yay!
You can have that one.
Thank you.
So look, this is awesome. It really is. But let's go back a little bit. I appreciate, you know, you've got to eat and you've got to do whatever your pre-show ritual it is. You know, paradiddles at 300 beats per minute. But influences. Who influenced you both? Obviously, you're from different sides of the pond. Simon, who were your influences?
Well, early on, Brian Bennett with I forgot the name. Brian Bennett. Who did he play for? Shadows, yeah. I think he was the first one because I found some records of parents used to slow them down to 16. But then I loved John Bonham, and then I had a thing about Phil Collins because I thought he was the drummer that taught me how to swing without being jazz, but he could swing a straight groove. And I think that was, I mean, he can't play anymore, poor fella.
Yeah.
But I don't like him as an artist, solo artist. I'm not a Phil Collins fan.
Yeah. But
for me, he was a really great drummer.
Yeah. Well, do you know, Brian Bennett has come up a lot of times as influences. And I'm just trying to think. For one I can think of straight away, Simon Kirke of Free and Bad Company. He was the first name out of his.
Right.
Yeah, Brian
That's
Bennett.
great.
Which is unusual, but you know, obviously a great player.
Rudiment wise, he was really good he was really tight with rudiments.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, as is Brian.
Yes.
Not Brian Bennett.
It's a Brian thing. Go on, Brian. Who were your earlier influences then?
I mean, there's too many. I have like a few. I have some favorites in different genres because I like too much. It's too eclectic, but I mean, my earliest influences from my brothers was actually Bad Company and Bonham, and then my brothers got into listening to R&B music. So, you know, all the slew of R&B players, anything Stevie Wonder, Earth, Wind and Fire, Donny Hathaway, that whole thing. Specifically, Maurice White and Fred White. Those two are, you know, pocket kings.
Yeah.
And then my brothers got into jazz, and so I just kind of followed my brother along with whatever he was into. So I went through because of my age, of course, I went through my Steve Gadd and Vinnie Colaiuta and Dave Weckl stage, and you know. But the last 20 years or so, a good amount of Steve Jordan. I listen to a lot of Steve Jordan, Charlie Drayton, and I love Brian Blade and Bill Stewart for this stuff. And, you know, it's endless. I mean, there's so many guys.
Yeah.
So many guys.
I'm adding Steve Jordan because I think I had a breakthrough watching him. He just does what Steve Jordan does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He just plays it right down the middle. Swings it like a...
One of my albums with Steve Jordan is Keith Richards and the Expensive Winos.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Such a great performance from Steve Jordan.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's Charlie Drayton's in that band too. Now, Charlie was the guy that played bass, and him and Steve would swap back and forth between bass and drums.
He played bass? Really?
Yeah, he did. He does.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, even the tune, like, what's the tune? What Hurt So Good? Or it was one of the bigger tunes on the Expensive Winos. It's actually Charlie playing drums on that.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, like he's riding on the floor, Tom.
Yeah.
They're both monsters.
It's a great album, though. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, you've both played with so many people as well. And do you see any similarities at all in your styles of playing?
Between the two, I'm in awe. I'm in absolute awe of Brian. He's landing it every night. No, I'm not as good as him.
You too, man.
I think we're different. He's just so on the money. I use a lot of I've got some click tracks going and a bit of track and stuff like that. But you are just riding bareback.
Oh yeah, we have there's no tracks, there's no nothing, no click, nothing.
And you can't tell.
Super old school.
Super
unusual, isn't it? This day and age, that's very unusual.
Very unusual, yeah.
Very rare.
Wow.
Yeah, I watch him, and you're good for this band as well. He's such a groover. I wanted to give up after the first time I saw him.
But we're pocket guys, man.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Neither of us are very flashy.
We play the song.
Yeah.
The song usually dictates. If you really are playing the song, your decisions are pretty.
Yeah.
They're right there in front of you. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
If that's where your heart is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the thing. I mean, but that's Steve Jordan again, isn't it? That's the Steve Jordan influence, or part of it anyway. That's it's now.
He didn't do a drum fill, does it? He's all playing. I didn't do a drum fill if you made a mistake.
it's like a.
That's the mark of a monster. It's like even like the you can see our band and our guitar player Shane. You can walk away from our concert thinking like that guy's a great player for this gig, and there's so many layers to that onion.
Yeah.
There's so much more that he could do, and he's not worried even for 1 second to put any of that other stuff there because just wherever it doesn't belong. So it's the mark of a real pro.
Underplaying.
Yeah. Or just you can still bring your flavor to whatever it is without but to have the integrity to just play the gig you're on, period, no matter what. And then that's your best chances of making you and everybody around you sound their best. So
that's perfect. I think you've just summed that up perfectly. It couldn't be any better. I'll be honest with you. Magic. Now, Simon, a little bird tells me that you may have played with Hall and Oates in the past on occasion.
I didn't. I mimed.
Did you?
I did Top of the Pops or something. This is in 1992. It's just an agency.
Fantastic.
So I sat in. I don't know where I have seen that written. I was with an agent and I sent me down for 3 shows. I think the Lottery. Remember the drummers on the Lottery and on Richard and Judy.
Wow.
And I think Top of the Pops. I met John, but I didn't really meet Daryl. It was like first thing in the morning, in and out. Yeah.
Blimey.
No, I've never played drums with them. I was an agency, obviously, because I have my model looks.
Of course. Yeah.
Yes.
But
so I did some playback, and actually, I don't know why, because I went down to meet their manager. Mickey was in town doing it. I don't know.
Oh, really?
And they must have been flying off somewhere else.
Okay. And
they were doing TV stuff. Yeah. Don't mention it, Brian.
What?
No, I'm joking.
Was I not supposed to mention that then? Oh well, never mind. I'll edit.
No, you can. No, of course. No, it happened. It happened.
It's fine.
It's one of those things, isn't it? Where I did during the 90s. I had an agent, and the agent could make money by sending you down to do playbacks.
Yeah.
You must have done them. But you're just thinking.
just to be someone that looks like they're playing for someone for a television show.
Yeah, like sync. So
yeah, I've never. I've actually, you know what? I have done it once. I did it only once.
How'd you avoid that?
Yeah,
he's younger than me. He's younger than me.
Well, I think Top of the Pops was kind of 85-90% playback, wasn't it, at the time?
Yeah. I went on Top of the Pops. Top of the Pops was a TV show every week.
Yeah.
And you had those, like, cushions on the drums.
Sure.
And two cymbals glued together.
Right.
Donk.
Yeah.
And you would just turn up and meet people. And then you mime and then you go home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've done it for bands that I've been in.
Yeah.
But I've never just randomly done it.
Right.
I like I said, I just did it during when the pandemic hit, when Broadway in New York City they were trying to get it open again. They did a television show, and it was like they were honoring all these Broadway people, and they put us right on 46th Street in the street.
Okay.
We had to mime to a bunch of backing tracks, which sounds like
yeah, exactly, yeah, because it was too expensive to record, or the band wasn't good enough. some of the TV bands, yeah.
So, excuse me. So, how have you both got through COVID? Did you manage to kind of do stuff through COVID? Did you keep busy at all? Because obviously,
Netflix. What did you do?
Yeah, I mean, I wound up recording a lot in my house, doing remote drum tracks. But I've been doing it for like 15, 16 years. But when COVID hit, I would say, conservatively speaking, 75% more busy. Like, I don't know where people are getting their money from, but it became a lifesaver for me.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of recording in the house.
Yeah.
I've heard that quite a lot, actually. But can you imagine it had this COVID thing been 20 years ago? It would have been so isolated, wouldn't we? There'd have been nothing.
Oh God, yeah. Jesus, I've never thought about that.
Yeah. It's a terrifying thought, that, isn't it? We'd have been. I don't know I don't know. There'd have been no remote recording, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it saved me to be able to talk to everybody online, because I was I'm sort of pretty much on my own for it, and the fact that you could do this even, or watch other people doing sessions, or there's like live streaming of stuff. It was interesting. The worry was, didn't know how long it was going to go on. That was my thing.
Yeah. Because
at first it was great because it was summer and it's like, all right, I'll go for some walks.
Yeah.
And then by the next winter, it's like, what am I going to do? Am I going to have to retire?
Crazy.
I mean, did you have the ability to be able to play at home, Simon?
Yes, I've got a studio like Brian. I don't do as much remote drumming as him, but I do some. Yeah. And I've got a kit set up. Yes.
So you could keep.
After a while, I got up really early and practiced.
Yeah.
Because I had to give myself a routine. I think if I could do 2 hours practice before lunch, it gave me purpose to my day.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was just like drinking wine and watching Netflix. So I forced myself. I got up at 6 or 7, and then just played the kit. I can make noise at any time of mine. So, and I played for a couple of hours, and then eventually I started practicing with Netflix on. I'd get a click track and put the subtitles up, and just you practice. It's boring, isn't it? And I'd start watching box sets. I go like that, just to keep my hand in as well. I didn't, because it's weird. Well, I was worried coming out on this because we both play quite hard, don't we? And when you practice, you don't play it as hard.
No.
Yeah, there's a different energy when you get out there. I have to be careful because I can tend to overplay, like in terms of force.
Yeah.
And then the pocket changes and you're not relaxed. So it's
also drums sound slightly better, not as loud. I mean, you can choke it. You can choke it. Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah. Well, I've got yet to learn that. I do. See some good, pretty girls out there.
Oh, this is brilliant. Well, look, guys. I know you've got a lot to do. You've got to go and eat. You've got a show to do, just to 20,000 folks. So look, let's wrap it up there. But
okay, Matty, thank you.
It's a joy to see you out and about and doing what you do well and what you should be doing. So I'm glad it's going well and glad people are coming out and thank you both for giving up your precious time.
Thank you. And thank you for staying up late.
It's only 10 to 11. It's no problem. It's fine.
Brilliant.
Look, thank you very much, Simon, Brian. Really appreciate it. Best of luck for the rest of the tour. Have a great show tonight, and hopefully catch up when you're over in the UK.
Brilliant.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys. See you soon. Take care.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.